let's just do it. All right.
All right, so let me go ahead and bring everybody up to speed here. All right, so most people know about what happened a few months ago concerning Joshua Vita and Mint Heart. And after that, Mint had a definite change of heart. I got in contact with MisAnthro Pony, who got in contact with me. We were able to resolve some issues, but after we've been dealing with Mint and trying to help her, and we finally got the money. She's going to be moving out here pretty soon, so that's some good news. Finally, be able to get her out on her own. But she brought to us some very disturbing information, and we feel it is important to go public with that information. And now is when I'm going to turn it over to Mint Heart.
Hey, everybody. I know the last time I kind of showed my face in public, things did not go well, but I can hear some echo. Jesus. This isn't easy. I met Vita back in 2015. Well, technically 2014, but we didn't start dating until much later. I was 14 and he was 22. I have written a Google Doc with my story of events throughout these 5 years, and it's not something easy to read, so please excuse any pauses and any shakiness. I also just got out of a mental breakdown, so we'll talk about that later, which is going to be lots of fun, I'm sure. Okay, this document is titled 5 Years. Oh boy, these always go well, don't they? If the title isn't obvious enough, this is a doc dedicated to the man I've known and loved for 5 years. I just need to get these feelings out there, put myself at ease finally, because every day I struggle with the giant weight of not knowing if this was right or wrong, or how to feel because of my own biases. On to the story. I met Vita in late 2015 when I joined Limbo. His first words to me, which are something forever ingrained in my mind, were, "Hey Mint, you, me, a jar of Nutella, in my room." It was ridiculous and caught me off guard, but I was hit with this instant feeling of warmth towards this absolute stranger who had said something stupid to me. I didn't figure it out until later, and it's really dumb, but it was this event and meeting that made me fall for him. One stupid joke and I was hooked, headed down a slippery slope of feelings. I was too shy to talk to him in DMs, so I just stuck to the Limbo group chat. He and I had become somewhat acquainted at that point, and eventually because of it I was known as Vita's kid. I ended up leaving Limbo in the spring of 2016 and joined a different group. And Vita and I stopped chit-chatting, but I still followed along on his YouTube to see what he was up to. When his birthday rolled around, I got the Skype notification saying I should wish him a happy birthday. I shrugged and sucked up the bit of nervousness and messaged him. Thinking was probably getting a lot of those messages, I didn't expect a response. Can't possibly say thanks to everyone who wishes you a happy birthday, right? But he responded, and from there we started to talk more. The more we talked, the more my feelings grew, and I was utterly terrified. The biggest reason being, well, he's older than me. I thought if he knew some kid had feelings for him, he'd be weirded out and not want to be friends anymore. So I kept the feelings to myself. Don't think I did too good of a job, though, but he never mentioned anything to me, so I thought I was covering it well. One night in late September, I was feeling overly courageous. We were chatting and just being silly, and I started to flirt with him. I can't tell you what he was thinking, but he went with it and was trying to throw me off with flirts. I easily and smoothly responded to everything he threw at me. Eventually, he got the hint and the joking stopped. He asked me if I liked him and if I was being serious. I told him I did and that I was, that over time I had developed a crush on him. That was the first time he and I got together. He was the first one to say, "I love you," strangely enough, and at the time it took my breath away and made me unbelievably happy. I told him I loved him back, and things were good. Until late November. There was this girl I met. She was the friend of a friend and helped me out of a dark time and took me under her wing, saying she was going to be my fandom mother. I was happy. She was dating one of my other friends, so we were one happy family. I found out Vita was talking to her, and things started to go to hell from there. They started developing feelings for each other, and I was hit with cold hard fear. They were sneaking around and flirting, hurting me and my other friend in the process. I desperately tried to get them to stop, to see what she was with someone else and what they were doing was wrong. But Vita was completely blinded by emotion and wouldn't listen to me. I told them one night when I was beyond hurt and emotional that I hated her and no longer wanted anything to do with her. She was told, and when I woke up the next morning, I was bombarded by messages from her, angry and hurt because of my words. I asked him how she found out, and he told me that my other friend had told her. And like the idiot I was, I believed him. I went to this other friend, hurt, confused, and mad. He told me he didn't say anything and was upset I didn't believe him. He stopped responding to me at that point, telling me he'll talk to me when I saw the truth. I went back to Vita and confronted him. He told me the truth, that he had been the one to tell her. That was a slap in the face, and I ran back to my other friend, crying and apologizing to him for not believing him. He accepted the apology, and things from that point grew strained between the four of us. Vita was constantly talking about her to me, and it hurt, like he was digging a knife into my heart and constantly twisting it. It was also clear he was under her influence. He eventually grew more and more distant until sometime in December, when I decided to remove him, thinking was for the best. I cried for weeks. I had lost 3 friends, all of which I had cared for deeply, but losing him hurt the most because of how much I loved him. When 2017 rolled around, I tried my best to move on, posting a piece of vent art saying I was over him and another friend. He saw it and came to apologize. We spent all night talking. He apologized and we caught up with each other. I was still scared and hurt, wary of welcoming him back into my life after what happened. But he was desperate to prove himself and was willing to do anything to prove he was worth keeping around. So we struck a deal. He had 2 weeks to show he was better, that he was sorry. If he messed up within those 2 weeks, I'd remove him and we'd go our separate ways. True to his word, he did everything he could to show he was better, that he was sorry. And once those 2 weeks were up, things were fine. Until he started liking B-Fish. One thing he did constantly in 2017 was talk about all the girls he liked, and that stung big time, especially considering he and I were still close and flirty. He was hanging out with her a lot, and it was no secret he liked her. But she was taken. I bit my tongue, though, not wanting to be the jealous type or overreact. We technically weren't together. I had no reason to be upset. I won't lie, it made me incredibly bitter and start to hate B-Fish. My anger was aimed at the wrong person, though. I should have been more mad at Vita than I was at her. Eventually, he stopped liking her. He found out how old she really was and moved on. It didn't stop him from liking some other girl, however. She was an artist and she was very nice. When my birthday rolled around that year, he had gotten me a gift, teasing me with what it was. He had commissioned her to draw me. It was an icon and something I treasured to this day, which is actually my profile picture for YouTube. The rest of 2017 is a bit of a blur, honestly. I remember him getting incredibly jealous because I had a crush on one of my old friends, Geeky Steven. He and I had reconnected and an old flame was sparked. Logan and I flirted a lot, and it's not something I'm proud of, trust me, but it felt nice, as horrible as it sounds. Vita wasn't exactly the best partner and didn't give me the kind of attention I craved. Though more my fault than his, I struggled to open up to him and tell him what I wanted. Logan was everything I wanted, but I couldn't have him because at that point I was with Vita, and despite the flirting and longing for someone and something else, I stuck with Vita because he was my friend and my boyfriend, the love of my life, and Geeky had gotten himself a girlfriend anyway. The rest of the year passed without much else happening, but then the fandom started stirring. Something big was coming. Some secret was being kept, and when 2018 hit, the truth about Toon Critic came out. Vita was told, and he took it upon himself to report it to the public. He worked day and night to get that video out. I was one of the first few to know out of the tight-knit Rift group who knew. I stayed by his side and comforted him and pushed him forward through it all. 2018 was probably the worst year he and I had. He fell asleep on Valentine's Day after saying he was going to spend the day with me. But I sucked it up because things happen. People fall asleep. When my birthday rolled around that year, I was beyond lonely. My sister was graduating, so my birthday was an afterthought for my family, which was fine by me. I was proud of my sister and more than happy to put my birthday on hold for everyone to focus on her. He had promised we'd hang out that day, and that helped ease my loneliness a bit. But he was asleep the entire day, and by the end of that day, I was crying. He apologized over and over, and I told him it was okay. That I forgave him, but it took me a long time to get over that. The rest of the year mostly passed without incident for us. He was by my side through all the things going on at home, and I was grateful to have him. We were still flirting and such, but for a long while in late 2018, romance had to be turned down because of my trauma. Then 2019 rolled around, a tough year, but we actually did pretty okay in the second half. In the beginning of that year, it was brought to my attention he had a girlfriend, something he had neglected to tell me. I was beyond hurt, because we had been flirty up until that point, and him hiding it from me, but still being flirty with me threw me off and upset me. I didn't want him to cheat on his partner, especially not with me. I got angry with him and had thoughts to remove him, but we patched that up and he stuck around. Further into the year, nearing my birthday, his cat passed away. He was utterly heartbroken, and I stayed with him for several days on call to comfort him and be there for him, because he needed me. Much later that year, Jazz and I got into a few fights. I didn't know it at the time, but she and Vita were dating. I knew she liked Vita, so I knew she was jealous of the time we spent together and how close we were. I got so mad after one of our fights, I told Vita that it was obvious she liked him, and that if he ever dated her, I'd never talk to him again. I was pissed. I didn't mean it. I'd never not talk to him because of who he was dating, no matter how much I disliked his partner. He and I still flirted a lot and even got intimate in calls. He had mentioned he and his girlfriend broke up ages ago and never mentioned another girl, so he was free for me to flirt with and be intimate with. Eventually, guilt over my petty fights with Jazz consumed me, and I felt compelled to go apologize to her and try to make amends. Vita was hesitant for this to happen, for obvious reasons, but at the time it didn't make much sense to me why he was against it. I messaged her and we attempted to have a friendship. We spent time together chit-chatting about stuff and bonding. We drew art for each other and shared songs and memes. Tried to cheer each other up with wholesome stuff. I actually enjoyed hanging out with her when we put our differences aside. We were good pals. It didn't last long, however, because not long after Jess had mentioned Vita was dating someone. Confused and scared because he and I had been flirting and I didn't want to find out he had been cheating on someone with me, I asked him about it. He straight up lied to my face and said he had made it up to get her and others off his back. And like the idiot I am, I believed him. Because we were doing good, and I didn't want to think he'd lie to me again after seeing how I reacted the last time he failed to mention he was taken. So I brushed it off. But after a while, Jazz brought up some barrel stuff going on. One of the members had been messing with her, and I went in to defend my bud. I asked Vita for the drama role, and that's when things went downhill. Jazz saw I was given access to drama and got incredibly upset, because Vita gave it to me but refused to give it to her and had her go ask Leo for it. I was tossed into a group chat with Sin, Baiji, Emmy, Jazz, and Raven. Jazz was furious and threatening to tell me who Vita was dating. Enraged he had been actually lying to me, I hit him up and told him we needed to talk immediately. Once in call, I yelled at him and pushed him to tell me who it was. And when I found out, my heart sunk and I started crying. I asked him how long it had been going on. He told me it had only been going on for 6 months. I was revolted and angry. Not only had he lied to me when I asked him before if he was dating someone, but he actively cheated on Jazz with me. I had never been so furious with him in all the time I had known him. I felt betrayed and disgusted. He asked if he could tell me why he did it. I told him fine, to state his case. He brought up how after one of my fights with Jazz and how I said if they ever dated, I'd drop him, he became scared to tell me the truth. And that the reason he cheated was because she treated him terribly and he felt happier with me. It broke my heart. And because I was in shock and denial, I turned the tables and stopped being mad almost instantly. For a long time, my brain refused to be mad at him and turned that anger towards Jazz. I pushed Vita to tell Leo so that we could get the two of them broken up and things could get better. He reluctantly agreed and we talked to Leo about it all. Eventually, we enlisted the help of Jala, a mutual friend of both Jazz and Vita, and they went to go talk to her so Vita could break up with her. When that call was over, he came back to talk to me. So she wouldn't get suspicious, I had to pretend I wasn't mad at her and like things were normal. I hated every moment of it. Especially after I learned that even through trying to be friends and make amends, she was still talking shit about me to Vita. Though honestly, I don't blame her for it. After they broke up, Jazz seemed even more open to me and the idea of us being friends, and she seemed to pour more effort into it. She was unaware of my deep anger at her, and thinking back on it now, I feel so fucking awful I was mad at her, because she didn't deserve it in the slightest. Regardless of this thing she said to Vita at times when they were dating, it wasn't her who cheated and hurt me. I redirected all the anger at her because she hurt Vita, and that was my excuse to hate her. This went on for a long while before it eventually became overwhelming and I had permission from Vita to block her everywhere. It brought me no pleasure to do so. Even with being pissed at her, I still felt some bit of remorse, like I was doing it for the wrong reason. When 2020 finally rolled around, I was still deeply hurt by everything and entered the 5 stages of grief, because it felt like I had lost him, even though he was right there. My denial and bargaining stages consisted of me being deeply caring and affectionate, and even included a proposal to him, thinking if we got married or were engaged, he wouldn't cheat or lie. We eventually broke off our relationship when Leo mentioned he wanted to bring me down to Texas to live with him. Vita was worried Leo would find out. I was hurt, but fine with it. I was also going to therapy at this time, so I talked to my therapist a lot about what happened. Then the anger stage hit. I was in that stage for a very long time, hit with uncontrollable rage at times. So many times I wanted to remove him and blow up at him because I was hurt. When March rolled around, it was brought to my attention he was flirting with Jazz again and thinking about rekindling their relationship. And that set me off big time and I yelled at him again. And the anger continued through the next thing to come. The ZPD drama and the fall of Beryl. When all of that hit, I had been asleep, waking up to Rouge messaging me about it and wanting to remove Vita peacefully. I assisted her in that and talked to Vita about what the hell he was doing. I was pissed, and he only ever showed remorse because I was angry with him, which only pissed me off even more. Things calmed for a while, and I was finally entering the depression stage after the Jazz stuff. But then she was threatening to release the truth and expose Vita. When she finally did, I started crying all over, and the pain and the anger I felt hit harder than ever. I should have left him at that point. I felt sick to my stomach and was pissed at him. But I was all he had left and I couldn't bear to leave him then. I faced severe consequences for my actions. So many people were angry at me for siding with him, and I don't blame them. You guys had every right to be angry, and I'm not going to sit here and try to excuse my actions. All that anger and criticism was justified. I was completely devastated when I found out it had been going on for longer than I thought, and the fact that he had cheated on her a lot more than I thought completely destroyed me. Still, I stayed, but I really wish I hadn't. He didn't deserve me after all he put me through and all that I lost. Time passed and my 18th birthday rolled around. He and I had been publicly together for only a week. I'm not going to lie, it was the best birthday I've ever had so far. But the next day I was breaking down, a complete mess because I felt sudden and intense guilt for the way I acted. My friend Step, bless his soul for putting up with me for so long, went to talk to Leo for me and we finally got a chance to talk again. Vita was actually supportive of this idea, despite him being afraid of me walking away from him, and I did walk away. Leo was willing to forgive me, but not if I was still with Vita, so I had to cut him off and it hurt like crazy. I was crying so much I could barely talk. I was begging Vita to please walk away from this peacefully, to not force me to have to block him. But in the end, I did have to block him. I didn't stay like that for long. I relapsed several times, each time feeling incredibly guilty and struggling to stay away. During the short time we spent together during a relapse, Vita fed several ideas into my head about Leo trying to control me, and this and that. And I've struggled to get out of his influence for ages now. But the important thing is I stay strong and carry on. This doc started as a way to vent, to put myself at peace, but I never intended for it to be released. I'm tired of keeping this secret for the sake of someone who has hurt me over and over. He's lied to me, cheated on his partner with me, groomed and manipulated me, and wasn't a good partner several times. He seemed uninterested in anything I wanted to do or the things I liked, even though I made an effort to be interested in the things he liked and even looked into them so we could talk about them. I put my all into our relationships, and while I struggled with opening up several times, that was his own fault I was like that. The years of hurting me made it hard to open up to him. I was scared to speak my mind because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I wish I had, though. I wish I had been a tougher girlfriend/friend, but I was too blinded by love to do so. I wasn't a saint either. I know that. I had my issues. But I was a child when we started dating, going through puberty and socially awkward and unsure of how to handle myself and people and my emotions, coming from a household that was super fucked up. And even after all the pedos that tried and failed to get into my pants, even after outing all those people and knowing better and having guilt increasing for at least a year, I could never out Vita. Never had the heart to mention it to anyone. I didn't want to ruin his life. But at this point, I'm unsure if I should care. I've suffered for years and I've wanted my story told for ages now, for people to hear me, to understand me, to see what I've had to go through. I want to care more for me, but I can't shake the massive amount of guilt at finally releasing this. Finally letting it all out. I don't know what to think about this all, how to feel about him. I'm not sure if I see him as a predator or a pedophile or anything like that. For now, it's over. 6 pages covering 5 years. And that's the end of the doc.
Good job on reading all of that through Mint.
Huh?
So,
All right.
what do
So
we move on to next?
we're going to move on to next is, I don't know if MisAnthro Pony is going to pull it up on screen somehow, or if we just want to throw the link onto the description of the video and throw it into the chat for them to click on it. But we don't have the screen caps going all the way back to when this started, when Mint was 14. But we do have some screen caps she sent us of them having some sexual conversation back when she was 16. I'm going to ask Mint some questions. I want her to verify some things here, just so everybody's on the same page and so we know to the extent of what happened here. Are you okay with that, Mint?
Yeah.
All right. Mint. Between the ages of 13 and 17, did Vita request nude imagery from you?
Yeah, he did.
Did you send him nude imagery?
I only ever sent him one image that was fully nude, and the rest of them I still had, like, I guess lingerie on.
Between the ages of 13 and 17, did Vita ever send you any pornographic or nude imagery?
Yep.
Between the ages of 13 and 17, did you and Vita ever engage in any erotic role play or talk of sexual nature?
Yep.
Do you believe that Vita has done what is called grooming of somebody?
After extensive research into it and trying to understand it, yeah, I think so.
Okay. You understand that none of this is your fault.
That I don't understand. I can't help but feel like it's my fault, and it's stupid.
Well, at least you recognize that it's stupid. It's something we'll get you to, but you need to tell the chat why you didn't come forward with this earlier. You need to be honest with them about it.
I was scared. I was absolutely terrified that Vita would be angry with me, or that he would be chased out of the fandom, or his life would be ruined, or he would hurt himself if I ever said anything. And I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't want him to get in trouble. And this entire time, I shut my mouth.
Okay. You need to tell them what specifically he threatened you with.
He threatened to kill himself if I ever told anybody.
All right. I also want you to tell everybody in the stream what happened before we got on here.
I had been out of contact with Vita, but at the very tail end of August, I had attempted suicide because the weight of what was, going on and what I was keeping inside was finally getting to me, and I wanted to end my own life rather than expose Vita or talk about any of this. And I was so drowsy and out of it from all the medication I had swallowed that I sent him a message, and once I had come out of the hospital, I still hadn't removed him or blocked his number. And when he caught wind that we were going to do the stream, he continuously threatened suicide, and he begged me not to say anything because his life would be ruined. He sent me a text message saying that he had left his house and was he had medication on him that he intended to take. I am in contact with his mother. I sent her a message to please look for him, to call the police, to do something. And he called me, or I called him, and I begged him. I was breaking down. I was crying. I could barely breathe. I was begging him to go home, to please not do it, but he wasn't listening to me. And after I continuously begged and begged and begged, he eventually hung up.
And then what'd you find out?
So he lied to you and tried to manipulate you into not going forward with this by telling you that he was going to take pills that he did not even have on his person.
According to his mom, he had left the pill bottle at home. I don't know if he took any in hand. That's hard to say, but I'm starting to doubt it.
This is not the first time Vita has lied to you, correct?
No, it's not the first time.
Do you realize it is within your power 100% to make it the last time?
I know.
Therapist. Don't work up to it. Tell her everything, or him, I don't know, about what's going on here. About Vita. About everything they're in.
Okay.
You to do that, because there's only so much your friends can do. We're not licensed therapists. We can't help you in that sense. All we can do is be there and support you.
I know.
No, we care about you, don't you?
I know.
Step cares a great deal about you. That's why he spent this time with you and why he's been working with you this entire time through thick and thin. I'll talk about an actual friend, a real friend. Step is that. Vita never has been for you. Not truly. Now, as far as the MisAnthro links go, MisAnthro Pony, are you able to pull those up on screen? All right.
Just switch over to the display cap. Open in your browser. Okay, go to OBS. Click on scene 2. Now go to the immigrant link in your browser. All right.
Go to the MGR link in your browser as you click on scene 2.
Yeah. No. Just go on scene 2. Get out of OBS. Get out of OBS.
Minimize OBS. Minimize it.
All right. Where do you see the immigrant? Let me send you the immigrant link again. Who did I send it to last? Copy link.
And here is I'm going to post the link to the MGR in the chat.
I got it. Also, a couple other things you might want to put on the screen too. Let me get them. Huh?
We'll find out shortly. That's Hateful Tate saying your audio is muted. We'll find out shortly. We'll find out.
Let me turn on the stream.
Keep in mind, the audience can see your screen right now.
Turn it. I think you're muted.
Okay. Pull OBS back up. OBS, not your browser. That's lagging. Okay. Is your audio muted on that end? Because
have a mic thing.
I don't know.
Should have a mic thing, but it's not just desktop.
Marcus, if you don't know what's going on, wait for the stream to finish, and then you can go back and listen. Can't be that difficult.
You don't even have a mic. That's the weird thing. So I probably wasn't even picking up your mic the whole time.
That's fine.
I
There
just
it's
figured
mostly-
it
There we
out.
go. There we go.
I didn't have my Yeti plugged in. All
Ah,
that
that's
time.
funny.
I am so sorry, folks.
All right. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm gonna be active in chat, but I need to get out a call.
That's okay.
Okay, kiddo. Thanks for joining us.
I am
I love
such
you, man.
an idiot.
I love you too, Opal.
So what do I do now?
All right. Go to the Discord. Click on the immigrant link. Sure, it's open in Chrome. Scroll up a little bit.
I don't.
No, don't. Right there. See the little blue text that says Vita?
The little blue
Up a little
text.
bit. No, it's go right on the immigrant link. Right there. The immigrant below that is blue text that says Vita. Click on that. All right.
I'm
so
sorry, I don't see a blue text.
no, just scroll up just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit more. Stop. There. What are you doing?
I copied the link.
All right, you copied it. Go to a new tab and then click paste and then open it. Right.
Real boomer posting hours here, bros.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, there's some of the screen caps.
Do I click
I
on
do
them?
have a couple. No, you just. Well, I mean, if you want to go into individual, yeah, I'd imagine. Should we get some commentary over this?
I can't believe he was getting away with this for so long.
I know.
I can. Lied, manipulated, and threatened a lot of people.
Should we put the immigrant
Yeah,
link
you
in
wanna-
the?
Check DM.
Did I put it in the chat? He'll have to put it in the description later.
I don't see it.
Repost it.
All right, I'll try.
Leo,
Yes.
check DMs, please.
In DMs. DM.
Is Emily still there?
Yes. Yes, she is. Yes, you may read the text out loud, Emily, but you need to block him.
Okay.
Well, we should just go with the immigrant link.
So, I have been texting Vita this entire time, continuing to beg him to go home. 38 minutes ago. So does that mean this conversation? Please go home, Josh, please. He responded with no, and if we won't call, this conversation is over. I said, please, Josh, just please. He responded to that with goodbye. And I, because the stream had been starting, I said, please, and that was the
Why
last
isn't this
message for a
coming
little
up?
bit. He responded to that with, I guess you don't want to hear my voice. Pick up. Emily, answer. They found me. I lost them. I responded with, please go home. This was 11 minutes ago. He said, call first and I'll consider it. I said, no, home first.
Real quick, I have to interrupt you. The stream's buffering. People are saying
Not anymore. It's done buffering.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
You have to understand, Mint, he's lying to you and he wants to manipulate you. You need to stop texting him and block him.
I know. I want to read this because I am understanding that the more I read these texts.
Okay.
He
Just-
said, make you a deal. Call and then I promise to go home. He said, deal. I said, I'm in call. The stream is going on. He responded to that with, you're doing my life-ending stream now? I said, I had to. He responded with, no, I'm not going home anymore. I said, yes, go home. He responded to that with, not on the table anymore. The cops should be getting involved shortly. And that was the last message.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, I just want to make sure people are able to see these screen caps, right?
Yes, I'm watching the stream right now. Everyone can see everything.
There.
Yes, it is.
I'm
I know,
sorry.
Firepower. I'm well aware.
All right.
So sorry about everything.
All right. It's just technical issues. It'll be fine.
You're fine.
No,
Doesn't matter.
Emily, if I knew that any of this, I should have been there for you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You did all
Chris,
you could.
it's not your fault. I kept it well hidden for many years out of massive fear. It's not your fault. You couldn't have known. No one could have known. I mean, people had their suspicions, but there was never any actual evidence to go off of.
I know. It's just, I'm just feeling so much right now.
I know.
I just feel so
Yes.
so sad.
You understand.
I just feel so angry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If Vito was
Okay,
in
we don't
my
have to-
house right
Yeah.
now, I
We
would.
don't have to. We don't
Calm down.
have to. We don't have to do that.
We don't have to go down that
on a
road. Let's
YouTube
just
stream.
focus on helping Mint. That's the important thing here.
On a YouTube stream.
Definitely don't want to say things on a YouTube stream that can come back to bite you. So keep yourself under control. If I can control my anger, you can control yours.
Someone's backing this up, right?
If I could just get
Okay.
5 minutes alone.
MisAnthro Pony. MisAnthro Pony, please.
Chris,
I'm down.
Oh my God,
please.
stop it.
Please.
Mute
I do
yourself
want to
if you
make
need to.
one thing very clear to the people in the stream. As disgusted as I am with Vita and everything that happened, I ask please to leave his family alone. Just, I don't want people calling his mom or his stepdad. Just, I want them left alone and out of this. This isn't anything, this isn't their fault. Calling his mom and bugging her isn't going to fix anything. So please, that's literally the only thing I'm asking from you people. Just leave her alone.
That's fair.
Yes, that is true, Emily. That is best for everyone.
Now, I want you guys to be aware the screen caps that are currently on the screen. Emily was 16 at this time. There are other screen caps or conversations that she has. She wasn't comfortable in sharing them because they're extremely embarrassing. We're talking about the erotic role plays and whatnot. But this is Vita talks about in the link. He talks about fantasies about her when she was a child. Trying to condition her to be sexually attracted to these things. And again, MisAnthro Pony will have the link in the description. And for those of you who keep asking what's happening for the last doggone time, you can either rewind the stream or you can wait for it to be finished and then you can go back and watch it. It's not a difficult concept. Talking about forcefully taking her at the age of 16. BronyCon specifically. So,
Just to put it out there, I do apologize that I wasn't present earlier. I didn't realize that the OBS wasn't capturing my mic. I just had it added several minutes ago. This live streaming stuff
It's
is
alright.
still new to me.
It's alright. Doesn't matter.
Boomer. Fisherman, nobody we know or care about is in Vita's Discord server, so I wouldn't know. Here, who is messaging me?
It's your mom.
Emily,
Yeah.
was there anything else you feel like you needed to say? I apologize, there's a plane going by my house right now. Was there
It's okay.
anything else you think needs to be said?
The only thing I think needs to be said is if this reaches anyone else that was underage and talk to Vita, please come forward and please let us help you too. I don't know if there's anyone else. I really want to hope that it was just me and Jazz so that no one else has had to suffer this kind of bullshit because this is disgusting. I mean, right before the stream, I was breaking down, crying and screaming and wanting for him to go home, begging him, because I was scared he was going to take his own life. And he's just continuing to manipulate me to try to talk to him, to try to stop this from happening, and to get him home. And it's so fucked up.
No, Hans, no one died. I swear if you don't stop. MisAnthro Pony, go ahead and give me admin in your chat so I can start dealing with these idiots.
Okay, how do I give you admin permission? Do I just
Thank
click
you,
on your
right?
name?
I think you click on the little 3 dots and it gives you the ability. I'm not sure.
Participants.
Yummy.
I mean, I clicked on the dots and it says participants.
Okay, in the chat itself, do you see where my screen name is?
I saw it, but I...
Or let me type. Here. You'll be able to see it now.
Something. Oh, I see you.
All right, click on the 3 little dots next to my screen name and see if it allows you to give me access as admin.
Alright, it says you're a moderator now.
All right, I'll get in the hands if y'all don't knock this off.
Please,
Go
this is a very serious situation, and I want people to not be bullshitting in the live chat right now. Because...
real quick, Marcus Baker, this has been happening since Mint was 13. She is now 18. So, there's your answer. This is what Vita always does whenever he doesn't get his way. He throws a temper tantrum, demands that you talk to him, and his intent is to try to get you in calls so he can try to smooth things over, and you can't give him that. Especially you, Mint. And now, Vita's already proven that his threats are pointless, that he is going to lie to you, and he wants you to break down. He wants you to come crawling back to him, and you can't do that.
He went way too far this time.
He
I
did.
can't. That's so fucked up. I lost a friend to suicide, and he's very well aware of this. To put me through this all over again is disgusting.
Well, yeah, because the only thing he ever cared about you for was for his own personal pleasure, man. This has never been about you. Always about him. Is there anything else we need to cover here, Mint? Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really, no. I don't know. Things are slipping my mind right now.
All right, they can...
It's been a really long day.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Anything else is ancillary and can be addressed later. And you need to block his number. Completely. Don't play any more games. Don't wait for any more texts. Just harming you. You know what it'll do to you. You need to block his number. And leave it alone. Are you going to do that this time?
Yeah.
Not going to hear from...
Not going to hear his mom, but that's it.
Okay, but if he starts texting you on his mom's number, what are you going to do?
He's away from his mom. She asked me if I heard anything from him.
Again, he'll come home sooner or later. He's not going to stay out there all night. He's too lazy.
Emily?
Yeah, Chris?
It's okay. He can't hurt you anymore.
He's too egotistical and narcissistic to kill himself. He's not going to do a thing to himself. He just wanted to use it as a form of control over you because he knows you had a friend who committed suicide. Also, Vita threatened to go after everybody else, too, right before he did it. And he can't do dick. He knows it.
Yeah, I don't know.
right. Is there anything else we need to cover? Because if not, I think Mint has earned herself a bit of a break here.
Yeah. In the chat, I did post one of the other logs that had a obviously censored post of Mint sending something to Vita in DMs.
Yeah, I don't have him asking for that or him responding to that because I sent that while we were in call together. Here's some fun context behind that censored picture I sent him. He, and this is going to sound very disgusting.
All right.
He said to me, "Hey, you want to, send me a lewd picture? One more before you become an adult?" Which is fun. That was a fun conversation to have.
He was reveling in it.
Pretty much, he was riding the high of, us being together after all the Jazz and ZPD stuff went down, and he was like, he would go on about how he wants to flaunt the relationship and how having, one more picture of me as a minor is, I don't know, some kind of trophy of sorts.
Had a super chat from John Ward saying, "Don't blame yourself. He's trying to play you. Chances are he's afraid of your heroic actions today. Will encourage others to speak up. An egomaniac who acts like that and only cares about himself will never hurt himself." And I agree with John here. Very kind super chat towards
Thank you
MisAnthro Pony from
John
him.
Ward.
$20. Thank you.
Oh no,
Sure,
this isn't supposed to be for money
all right.
related
All right.
gains.
It's
It's fine. It's fine.
Don't
We're
worry
almost
about it.
done. We're almost done
Doesn't
anyways.
Oh God!
I
Come
meant
in.
a cheeseburger or something. Oh, but that tracks because again, one of his first things when you two started dating publicly was, haha, look, I'm dating somebody Lio thinks is a predator, or she's dating somebody Lio thinks is a predator. Yeah, haha, he can't do anything about it. It was never about you. It was about him. It was always about him. That's why people had enough of him. One of the many reasons.
If you hear screaming in the background, that's most likely from me. I'm sorry. My brother is playing video games and he tends to get loud. Children.
Oh yeah, I know. There's been many times where Mint and I were in call, and in the background you just hear "fuck, fuck."
All right. Do you have anything else to say before we end the stream out, Mint?
Well, there's still a couple more of these images to put up.
You can go over them while Mint's giving her
It's going to
closing.
be in the description. People can look through them themselves.
I think we pretty much shown and talked about exactly what Vita really is. So
Yeah.
All right.
all right. So we thank you guys for joining us. Spread this far and wide. Let everybody know what's going on here. Another super chat real quick from John Ward. You're doing the right thing. Proud of you because I know many girls hurt by people like that. No, it's not for money. Just get a hot meal too. It helps one day at a time. Here for you. Very kind of you.
McDonald's.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate the support too.
We're here for you. That's our purpose. That's why we're here.
156 people. Amazing.
And it's going to get better. Again, let's spread this out. Let people know what he's done. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Put it wherever you guys chat. Discord servers, wherever. But we do need to end the stream so Mint can get some rest and so I can finish what's going on here.
Anyway, right. Just whenever you're ready, Map. Just, I guess.
For what it's worth, thank you for coming to this stream.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping Mint Heart.
Good night.
That's it.
Right. Let's end the stream.
You know how Go to the OBS and then do the thing you did before. Oh, that works too.
I
You have to go
I'm
to
so
the OBS
sorry.
too.